Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a closer look at something really special. The 2026 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S models.
Yeah,
We're talking about the highly anticipated updates to the 99 2.2 generation. And trust me, there's a lot to unpack here.
absolutely. Our goal today is, well, it's really to dig into what makes these new models tick.
Yeah.
We'll be focusing on the key enhancements, the performance figures, which are impressive, and all those notable features from a comprehensive review we looked at.
Right.
We want to give you a really clear understanding of what makes these models stand out, not just numbers, but how they fit into that whole legendary Porsche lineup.
Okay, so the big news to kick us off, the significant return of the all-wheel drive 4S variants.
And they're back.
To the 992.2 generation.
Yeah.
So we're welcoming back the Carrera 4S, the Carrera 4S Cabriolet, and the Targa 4S.
All three.
And these models, they boast increased power, better standard kit, all while keeping that, flexibility that all-wheel drive offers. And of course, you've got the open-air options too, the cab and the Targa.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is where these 4S models strategically sit.
Uh-huh.
In the 911 hierarchy.
Okay, where's that?
Well, they slot in perfectly between the rear-drive Carrera S and the even more aggressive GTS models.
Right.
And the all-wheel drive system itself is pretty sophisticated. Uses an electromechanically controlled and water-cooled front differential.
Water-cooled, okay.
Yeah. And this is crucial. Porsche Traction Management, PTM. It features a rear-bias torque split.
So mostly rear-wheel drive feel.
Exactly. It intelligently sends torque to the front axle only as needed, which significantly impacts handling and the dynamic feel you get behind the wheel. Makes it incredibly precise, but you don't lose that classic Porsche rear drive sensation.
That sounds, well, incredibly refined.
Yeah.
But, in practical terms, how does that rear bias split really feel different, say, for the average driver in a tight corner or maybe wet conditions?
Well, it really gives you an added layer of confidence.
Yeah.
You still get that agile sort of rear-wheel drive feel during spirited driving, definitely. But if you push it or if conditions get slick, the system just seamlessly brings in the front wheels, helps maintain grip and stability. It's all about maximizing usable performance, in more scenarios.
Yeah.
Gives the driver more control without feeling, well, intrusive.
Got it. Okay, so sophisticated all-wheel drive, but what's actually powering this comeback? Let's dive into the engine.
Roll at the heart of it.
The 3.0-liter twin-turbo flat-six. This powerhouse delivers, well, pretty impressive numbers, 473 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque.
Which is a decent jump.
Yeah, that's a significant increase, 30 horsepower compared to the outgoing models. And all that power is managed by the standard 8-speed PDK.
Porsche's dual clutch, yeah. Renowned for lightning-fast shifts.
Exactly.
And when we look at the performance claims, they're quite compelling. Porsche states the Carrera 4S Coupe can do an estimated 0-60 mile per hour in just 3.1 seconds.
Wow.
That's using launch control and with the optional Scope Chrono package, of course. Top speed, 191 mile per hour.
Okay.
But here's some crucial context for you. Porsche almost always tends to underreport its numbers.
Right, they do that.
They really do. When our source tested the outgoing 2020 Carrera 4S, it actually hit 0-60 in 3.2 seconds flat.
See.
So this strongly suggests the 2026 Carrera 4S is very likely quicker than the manufacturer quotes in real life.
That's fascinating. It's like this consistent underreporting from Porsche. It's almost a unique marketing strategy, isn't it? Like they're giving you a pleasant surprise. But does that strategy ever, backfire? Do some buyers maybe feel shortchanged if the published numbers aren't the absolute max? Or is it just purely a positive?
Honestly, it seemed almost universally positive.
Yeah.
It builds this incredible trust and loyalty. Owners often find out their cars even faster than advertised, which just enhances their perception of Porsche's engineering, their attention to detail. Quite a clever way to exceed expectations every time.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Now, while specific figures weren't listed for the Cabriolet and the Targa 4S,
Right.
it's expected they'll be just a tiny bit slower, simply due to the added weight from the convertible roof system.
Exactly. A little bit more weight.
Okay. Moving beyond just the raw power, what about the experience inside the car? And what luxuries are standard now? Porsche's clearly upping the ante there, too.
They are, yeah.
What really stood out to me was the now standard extended leather package.
That's nice.
It's not just seats and headrests, but upper dash, upper door panels, even the rear seats were applicable.
Right.
And while the Targa and cab naturally come with rear seats, you can actually option them back into the 4S Coupe at no extra charge, which is interesting.
Oh, okay.
Plus, there's the, practical convenience of standard wireless phone charging on all models.
Always useful.
Yeah.
And this commitment, it extends to the performance side, too, not just luxury.
Right.
These cars come with, well, a whole host of standard features designed to really elevate the drive. You'll find upgraded dampers and hydraulics engineered for more responsive handling, better ride quality. They also get GTS brakes.
Yeah, standard.
Standard.
Yep.
And silver tailpipes with the sport exhaust right out of the box.
Nice.
And key carryover features, you still get those striking staggered 20 and 21-inch wheels and Porsche Torque Vectoring Plus.
Which helps with?
That's the system that precisely distributes power between the rear wheels, enhances agility, enhances grip.
Gotcha.
And it's also worth noting the Targa 4S specifically comes standard with rear axle steering.
Rear axle steering on a Targa. That's intriguing. You kind of picture a Targa as maybe more of a cruiser, but this suggests they're really leaning into performance even for that variant. Does that change who the Targa is for or just make it even more capable?
I think it just makes it incredibly versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it brings that agility you absolutely want from a 911, even in the open-top versions, right? Without compromising its cruising comfort. It really broadens the Targa's appeal, I think. For drivers who want that iconic design but also demand, sharper handling, it's a fantastic blend.
Okay. And for those of you who love to customize, there are still some appealing optional choices. You can refine it further with things like PASM sport suspension.
Right. Lower and stiffer.
And the ceramic composite brakes.
If you need ultimate stopping power.
Exactly. Now, for the inevitable question, the cost.
The price tag.
It's an i11, and as our source succinctly puts it, they're not cheap.
Hey, understatement.
The approximate pricing, as listed for the 911 Carrera 4S, starts around $156,000.
Okay.
The 911 Carrera 4S Cabriolet, about $170,000. And the 911 Targa 4S at roughly $171,000.
So pretty close, the cab and the Targa.
Yeah, very close.
And if you're already checking your calendar, deliveries are slated to commence in the fourth quarter this year.
So coming up soon?
Relatively soon, yeah. These figures, they really underscore the premium segment these cars occupy and highlight the consistent value Porsche places on its iconic lineup. For you, the driver, it means investing in a car that not only performs, but historically holds its value remarkably well.
That's a good point. So, okay, we've explored the welcome return of all-wheel drive, those significant power bumps, and the comprehensive suite of standard features now, elevating both luxury and performance in these 2026 911 Carrera 4S models. Yeah. It's clear Porsche is, well, carefully refining an already iconic car. Very carefully.
It really is. And this raises, I think, an important question for you, our listener. What truly stands out about Porsche's strategy here? Continually refining an icon like the 911. Is it their relentless pursuit of performance, the subtle yet impactful integration of luxury, or maybe their dedication to that classic formula while somehow seamlessly embracing new tech?
It's a mix, isn't it? And consider how these new 911 Carrera 4S models really exemplify that delicate balance, preserving a traditional driving feel, yet incorporating cutting-edge automotive engineering. What might this mean for the evolution of high-performance sports cars going forward, and how do these specific details, the ones we talked about today, contribute to the enduring, frankly, legendary status of the 911 in the automotive world? Something to think about.